Hello again, and welcome to Faith, Family, and Politics. I'm your host, Joshua Cummins.
And we're going to have a really big show today.
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Hey, Lou, did you know that it's episode 68?
68, wow.
Yeah.
I missed a few, but...
Well, so did some other people, but that's okay. I've been here for them all. I've got the, perfect attendance.
That'd been really awkward if we didn't. Just the ones he didn't want to be here for, we just didn't do. He's like, much. Friday, I'm not doing it. I'm like, oh, we're going to miss out on episode 57.
and
we had to take a little time off to recuperate.
Yeah, and the guy that told us that we had to take time off to recuperate, that's our good friend Louis Rodriguez. He's the host of Rodriguez Rants. You got to go over there and watch some of his episodes. We got to get some new episodes going for these people out here, don't we, Lou? Yeah, and then across from him, he's everybody's favorite,
the legend,
the host of the Laughing Libertarian, Alan McFarland.
Hi.
Where's the cheers? He gets cheers, doesn't he? Huh.
Cheers.
Hello, children. Take your vitamins.
They never turn the cameras around.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. We're having a good old time, if you guys can't tell. And
silent laugh again. Oh my God, you've already got me started. Stop it. This guy's hilarious, okay? Just stop. Okay.
Hence the name of his show.
Right. The Laughing Libertarian. It makes sense. Okay.
Yes. The plumber, he said he watched a little bit of our show.
Uh-huh.
He said, boy, you guys love each other in that show. You always laughing, enjoying yourself. I said, yeah.
Louis' bill went up by $50.
No, I gave him a little extra.
Hey, I'm not here to question who had the power, okay? Whether he charged you or you gave it to him, I don't know. $50 is $50.
But speaking of, since you're here and you're listening to us and watching us, and we'll get to who's bringing the message this week here just very, very shortly, because she's a very special guest. We love having her here. You know that this is also underneath the banner of Revolver Broadcasting, right? So that's why we mentioned the fact that there's the, Rodriguez Rants and Laughing Libertarian. You got to make sure that you're following, subscribing, hitting the notification bell, liking, sharing. Sharing is caring. And also, what do we got to do, Alan?
You're going to comment.
Hit the bell, ding dong.
Okay, the bills are paid. And bringing us the message this week is the softer side of Faith, Family, and Politics, Yvonne Metcalf.
Well, thank you very much. Glad to be here. It's been a while. I think I'll just jump right in.
Let's get that title up on the screen so everybody knows what it's.
That would be good. Title, please. Standing for something. I think it was Alexander Hamilton that said we need to stand for something or we will fall for anything. That's where that came from. So I'm going to kind of go into the Bible and see what it says about that. And a couple other things too. And forgive me if I ramble. That might happen.
You know what might help? Is a prayer over the message.
A prayer over the message, of course. Okay, let's start with prayer. Oh my goodness. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for this venue. We thank you for these people. Thank you for everyone that will watch. Thank you for your word. Thank you for being our Savior, our Shepherd, Father, God Almighty, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, coming back someday. Thank you for that. Thank you for providing our needs. Thank you for watching over us. And just help me to walk through this today and guide the conversation. And we'll thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. You got to do better than I did last week. Boy, that was...
We're not talking about last week.
What happened last week?
I said a lot.
Yeah.
And repeated myself a lot.
He had a solid remix of whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
Instead of the scratches, it was just No, it was actually, I didn't notice it, to be honest with you.
Very Biden-esque moment.
There were just 3 or 4 English words that I don't think actually were English. But beyond that, it was fantastic.
Fantastic. Way to make a girl feel good. Okay.
We believe in you.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, thank you. So we're going to go to Matthew first. It's about the 10 virgins that were supposed to be ready. Matthew 25, verse 1. I'm going to jump right in here. It says, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. And they that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go rather to them that sell and buy for yourselves. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I don't know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man comes." And so that's the main verse there for watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man is coming. And so we're not sure when Jesus is going to come back. I kind of touched on that a minute ago. I've talked about this enough on this show. I think everybody here knows what the teaching is in the Bible about Jesus coming back for his church. And he's going to be coming back soon. And so we need to be ready. And so that's where the title came from today, Stand for Something. Because while we're waiting for him, we're not supposed to be standing around twiddling our thumbs or tapping our foot or chit-chatting or all the things that we like to do when we're wasting time. You know, I think about growing up, and my mom would say, I watched my brother from the time I was 12 years old, and she would give us chores to do before she got home. And we would know when she was coming home. And so we would, you know, a lot of times put it off to the last minute. And so most of that, the majority of that was laundry sometimes. And she said no one allowed in the house, you know, don't play with the stereo. They had a really nice, huge stereo back then. This is back in the 80s, and filled up the whole wall, the whole nine, and could blow your ears off.
I never had that problem. You know that?
It was an
It was all for the woman. My mother made my sister do everything. I felt sorry for her, you know.
Oh my gosh. Well, my mom said, you know, watch him and he's supposed to help you. He didn't do much. He was younger, and I tried to corral him, but he was determined to do his own thing. He helped when he wanted to, basically.
I think it's a younger sibling thing, or sibling thing, because my brother and my mom would say, clean your room. And I'd go through and clean my half of the room.
Oh, you guys shared a bedroom. Yeah, that's really easy to put it off on someone else.
We slept 6 feet away from each other.
Oh, my goodness. This half is mine. See the line right here. That's funny. So anyway, we couldn't do that. But so we would try to get things done before she got home. But occasionally she would come home early. And we would either be doing what we're supposed to be doing, or she would catch us doing something we're either not supposed to be doing or not doing. The laundry would be done in the washer, and nobody went and switched it to the dryer yet. We had to go to a laundromat. So we didn't have a washer and dryer in our apartment, so we had to go down there. And if you don't stand there and keep an eye on it when the timer runs out, then you're going to let it sit there for 2 hours soaking wet, which is not good for your clothes, right?
Oh, no.
So, yeah,
strikes up an odor real quick. That happened a few times. There was a few times when we were doing what we were supposed to when she got back, but more often than not, we were not doing what we were supposed to. So, anyway.
That's young kids for you.
But that was my mom, and we knew kind of when she was going to be home. But with Jesus coming back, we don't know when he's going to be home or when he's going to be back. And we're going to be home.
I think I got Jesus in my home all the time. So
yeah.
I think he's home.
Well, I mean, he's everywhere, but he's going to come back and take us out of here. So I can't wait for that
Spaceship?
day.
Well,
not on a spaceship.
I think it's a horse.
Flying saucer?
He'd be riding on a horse, right?
He's actually going to catch us up. So I sort of feel like we're just going to float up. Like, and then when we come back with him at the end of the tribulation, then we'll be on horses. That's where that comes from.
When I experienced that, I would tell God, why didn't you give me this talent before? I could have been floating all around.
I know, right?
I hope my horse is a 67 Riviera, Buick Riviera.
You're hoping it's a horse, huh? Yeah. I'm hoping it's my T-bird.
Yeah. See.
I want a
Great
T-bird.
minds.
Okay, so we're a little off track.
Well, horses are on tracks, and now, okay.
Right. So anyway, Jesus is going to come back, and we need to be ready, and we need to watch, as it says in that verse. Now let's look at something else here. We're going to look over here in Ephesians, one of my favorite passages in the Bible, and it talks about this kind of thing. Let's look here. Jump in here. Okay. Verse 10, Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. And then it goes on and tells you about the armor that you're supposed to wear, because we are in a battle. This is not a joke, although we like to joke around. Laughter is good. The Bible says laughter does good like a medicine. There's a time for everything, though, also.
That's what I would like to say. We joke around all the time, but we're not making fun of God. We're just making it a little more interesting and more happy, so you out there don't get bored. But we're not making fun of God. We're just making it fun for everybody.
Oh, no, absolutely not. And like
Good clarification for a lot of our listeners.
Right,
yeah.
that's good, yeah. And there's a time for everything. Like Ecclesiastes said, there's a time for everything. There's a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to be happy, a time to be sad. You can't be happy all the time. You can't be sad all the time either, or you're going to drag everybody down. So we need a good balance with that, and I think we have that. But it's important, I think, what it says here, and it talks about the armor of God. It talks about all these things, the belt of truth, the helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. And that's one of the main things that we're supposed to be doing while we're waiting, like the Great Commission. It talks about, Jesus said, go ye into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. And so we're supposed to be sharing the message of salvation with everyone all the time. That's the main thing, and that's for everybody to do. But that's not the only thing, and it doesn't stop there. And I think sometimes our churches will say that, well, we're focused on the Great Commission, and it's true. We do need to do the Great Commission, but we also need to stand for what is right, and that's where the title came from. We need to stand. What do you think of when you think of standing for something that's right? What does that even mean? What does that mean to you, Josh? Can you think off the top of your head, or?
Well, I mean, doing what God told us for one, but also standing for your country in particular. I mean, we got a culture war going on out there, so there's that. I mean, one of the purposes for this show, and then a spiritual war going on as well. And I believe that's the other thing that this show encapsulates.
So, can you give like a specific example
of fighting
of standing for what's right?
Oh, I mean, everything we talk about all the time on here. We're talking about God and talking about carrying those values, those family values, into every aspect of our lives, and letting the people know that God doesn't stop at the church doors on Sunday.
That's right.
All right.
You said what I was going to say. You got it out just in time. I was going to stop you.
I mean, I'm really big on respect, and we're not going to talk about Denny's, guys. But that's
that's a story for another day, guys.
Story for a Rumble episode. But mutual respect among people, and you make sure you stand up for the people who can't stand for themselves. I always think it's right to stand up for those who can't stand for themselves. And
honestly, that was the first thing I thought of was bullying. Because, I'll give a little bit of my story. I went to a Christian school from 5th grade to 7th grade and decided to switch over to public school in 8th grade. And you want to talk about culture shock.
Yeah.
went from skirts to your knees to everybody wears blue jeans and nobody cares what you say, and lots of cussing and all this other stuff. And it was just a total culture shock for me. But I had one good friend, and she was my friend. She didn't care. It didn't matter. And there were some boys in the neighborhood that were troublemakers, and they sat in the back of the bus and smoked weed all the time and just created a bunch of trouble and so forth. And
having a good time.
Yeah, I guess they were having a good time, but they were breaking the law. So, and they gave the bus driver a hard time and all that too, and they were constantly just picking on people, trying to start a fight. And me and my friend were riding our bikes in the neighborhood, and I don't know if they tried to stop us or if they tried to push us off our bike. But my friend got off her bike, and she said, "Don't you dare touch us, or I'm going to touch you back." And they didn't even know what to do. They just took off like a bunch of sissies. And it was amazing, though, because she was standing up for her friend. She was standing up for somebody that was being bullied. And my brother was another example. He was Filipino, so he was shorter than everybody. He had different skin color and his hair straight and everything. And they used to call him Chinese and this kind of thing. And me, big sister, I'm like, "You leave my brother alone or I'm going to kill you." So I stood up for him too. So when I think about standing up, that was honestly the first thing that came to my mind. It's important to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves.
I think we're on the opposite ends here. I'm saying I stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. I mean, like people who are stuck in wheelchairs. I stand up and go, "What's wrong with your legs, buddy? Come on, get up and high five me already."
I don't know what to say.
Just kidding, everyone.
Why don't you jump to action?
Come on. Put your best foot forward.
Put your best foot forward.
Okay, sorry.
You just step into this action plan, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Oh. I don't know where to go.
Everyone's staring at me now. That was a bad joke.
It was funny, though. It really was funny. Okay.
Okay, sorry. Don't bully people. It's not nice.
Anyway,
Take your vitamins.
It's not cool. It's not cool. Not cool to bully. And so I was going somewhere with this.
About the
I was
Filipino?
about to get really serious. No, it's not the Filipino. That's my brother. And then there's the unborn.
Oh, the girl that you said it was going to touch.
Oh, my friend. Yeah, my friend said, "You touch us and I'm going to touch you back and you're going to be sorry." And they backed off and they left us alone and they didn't bother me. And it was amazing. Actually, there was another time, but I had to stand up for myself. But I'm not going to go into that on this show because it's not.
Is it a Rumble episode?
It's not relevant. Yeah, but
Okay.
I'm
believe
sure.
me, they were sorry. So we'll just say that.
I'm sure we all went through something similar like that, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, at that grade in junior high, especially, they think of anything they can to pick on you for. It can be literally anything. If they're tall, it's because you're tall. If you're short, it's because you're short. You got blonde hair, it's because you got blonde hair. It doesn't matter at that age. They pick on you for everything. So, but that's a totally different, rabbit trail that I could follow. But what was I going to say? Okay, so what I was going to say is we need to stand up for the unborn. And they are the quintessential person that can't do anything, right?
Right.
They can't do anything. So we have to stand up for them. Right. And I'm just really thankful that in Indiana, they just passed that, they just said that the
new law, yeah.
The new law, and it was upheld by the Supreme Court of Indiana. So I'm really thankful for that, for the unborn children, because we need to stand up for them. So that's something else that we could stand up for. And Louie, I think everybody said something about that. So we'll go on from there. So I was just looking through here, trying to find some things, other than just the gospel that we're supposed to. I say just the gospel. We have to preach the gospel. Okay, if you're not saved, you need to be saved. Jesus said, "God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son. Whosoever believes in Him will not perish, but have everlasting life." And He also said, "Whoever calls on the name of the Lord shall be saved." It's a promise. And so, if you haven't accepted Christ as your Savior, then I would urge you, to consider His gift and accept His gift.
So the gospel's coming up next? All you people out there that don't like the gospel, it's time to leave now.
Or you can hate watch.
We'll take a hate watch.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
take a hate watch,
Just,
yeah.
Yeah, be all grumbly and watch us on mute. We don't
If
care
you're
as long
able
as you're
to
watching.
stand it and control yourself,
Right.
Watch us.
So, I mean, I don't know how you can hate the gospel because it's a gift, but I guess it's.
I know quite a few
Oh.
people that hate the gospel.
We do have some atheist viewers. We have some viewers that are that don't believe in God. We have a lot of just a diversity of viewers. Let's put it that way.
a diversity.
And we
of-
appreciate you.
Yeah.
I think I know one or two that don't like God.
Okay, well, and that's where we go back to the spiritual wickedness in high places and people that either choose evil because they want the power or the,
Yes.
the rush from being evil, or people who are deceived into thinking, and honestly, either way, you're deceived because the end of that is not going to be good. We only live so many years on this earth, and then we're in eternity, and then we have to face what we've done, whether it's good or evil.
Sometimes people like that, God gives a, what do you call it, a punishment, like?
Yeah.
Teaches them a lesson
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. When they say that it's evil, he might get some devil to come over and maybe,
Give them trouble.
yeah.
That happened to Saul in the Bible, actually. When he was disobedient to God, God said, I want you to get rid of everything. And he said, well, I just want to keep this stuff so we can do a sacrifice and keep this guy because I just want to brag about how I won the war. And God said, nope. I said obedience, not sacrifice, or not sacrifice. And obedience was more important than sacrifice. Sorry. He wants sacrifice, but he wants obedience first. And so Saul was troubled by, the Bible says God sent an evil spirit to trouble Saul. And so he had all that trouble and just was paranoid and nervous. And he had to have David come and play his harp so it could calm his spirit and that kind of thing. So, it does happen. Sometimes God will bring judgment that way, on this side. And sometimes he doesn't. And so people like Biden and people like, the Department of Justice and
It's Department of Just Us.
that
Just
sounds
us.
about right.
That's why they get away with everything.
Right. God bless me and you and no one else or something. Yeah. So it's just kind of a crazy world that we live in right now. People that think they're getting by with things, these people, these drug traffickers and the cartels that are
A lot of these shooting and killing.
Yes, a lot of that. And the gangs and this kind of thing. And you just think that you're getting by with it. You get a prosecutor in there that won't prosecute, or you get somebody that will cheat on an election and then say, there was no cheating here. We don't have to listen to this, just kind of abusing their power. But, eventually it will catch up to you, either here or there.
Sometimes they think that it can't catch up to them, that things can't catch up to them.
Mm-hmm. They think that.
Yeah.
Although this last election, most secure election, just to be clear, most secure election of all ever that we've ever had in the United States. 36 counties, definitely have 81 million votes in them, for sure. Absolutely, we can't deny it.
No.
For who?
I'll just throw that out there. Disclaimer. He's being sarcastic. Okay.
Am I?
I hope so. Or you need to get right. Oh my goodness. So anyway, it talks about that, but you'd be surprised it talks about it in the Old Testament. Like that's one of the other things that we're supposed to do, and one of the things that that Israel got in trouble for not promoting justice and taking care of the fatherless and the widows and this kind of thing, and people.
The widow and the orphan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people like that. So, hold on, I'm trying to get to where I'm going.
Must be on the road to Damascus.
The road to Damascus. It's actually the road to the Old Testament. Hold on, I'm going to find this.
Or the OT, as they call it.
OT, yes. So we don't always, really delve into that much. A lot of people say it's not relevant, but it is relevant because God's the same yesterday, today, and forever.
That's right.
So he did, they did look forward to Jesus coming, and we look backward that Jesus came and died on the cross. So it's the same, but it's just a different perspective. And some people call that in, Christian circles a dispensation. So it's a different dispensation. But let me just read a couple of these verses. It says here in 1 Kings, "Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighted in thee to set thee on the throne of Israel, because the Lord loved Israel forever. Therefore made he you king to do judgment and justice." And it always talks about judgment and justice. And then the next verse, "So David reigned over all Israel and executed judgment and justice among his people." And then it tells us in the Psalms, "Justice and judgment are the habitation of your throne. Mercy and truth go before your face." And it says in Psalms 119, "I have done judgment and justice. Leave me not to mine oppressors." So people that are oppressed, people that are paying too much in taxes, people that are thrown in jail without a cause, babies that are killed without a cause, children that are indoctrinated and taught lies their whole life. I mean, this kind of thing is no good. Men that beat women, this kind of thing is no good. And God sees it and God knows. And he says, we need to promote justice, not just the gospel. Yes, the gospel. The gospel is for everyone, even those really evil people. God actually has way more mercy than probably I do, because honestly, I have a hard time showing mercy to some people. But God is allowing that. If you're not dead yet, you still have time. Yep. And so, it's just, but he tells us that we should promote justice. And he talks about, nations promoting justice, not just people individually, but us as well.
Thank you for reminding me. As soon as I get home, I'm going to beat up my wife.
I think she just heard that, and the door's locked.
I think it's the other way, actually. I think the door is completely open, and she's waiting for him.
No,
with a ball bat.
She's a beat on him.
No ball bat. She's got a rifle, and she's got also a 390, a 9mm. She'll be waiting with the gun.
He got to the end of the driveway.
You have no chance.
No chance at all.
We have a good guest room here, Louie. You can hang out.
Oh my goodness.
I was only kidding about beating
For
up.
those who have lost their way. Okay. No, anyway. So we're supposed to do justice, and that's kind of a big thing for me also as I look around to what's going on right now. And a lot of it's not just like throwing the book at Mr. Trump and slapping the wrist of Mr. Biden is unfair. So
How about Hunter?
And Hunter, when I say Mr. Biden, I'm talking about Hunter.
The whole family?
The whole family, yeah. I guess I could say the whole family, the Biden crime family.
They're all involved.
Yeah, so, that's a lot of injustice right now. So we're supposed to promote justice. So standing up and saying, no, that's not right, is something that we are supposed to do as Christians. And we're supposed to shine our light, and we're supposed to be salt of the earth. And we're supposed to affect the culture. And the reason that we have some of the problems, honestly, that we have now is because we haven't been doing that. And so when is the time? Well, the time is now. We have to do it. And each person has to individually say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to be one of them that's going to be standing when he comes back and doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Like if he comes back and I'm sitting here playing games on my phone or something, oh my goodness. But if I'm standing at the abortion center saying, please save your baby, or if I'm, reading my Bible or something, or if I'm even saying, this isn't right. We need to, promote justice, whatever I'm doing, I need to be doing something when he comes back that he'll be pleased with. And so that's kind of my whole goal. That's my whole idea. And,
oh boy, I hope he doesn't come back when I'm playing games on my phone, because I only usually do that when I'm indisposed.
If I'm playing a game I'm going to just tell God, hey, I'm sorry. I didn't know you was coming. Forgive me.
Next level. Just one more.
This darn Candy Crush guy.
Hold on for 5 minutes.
Look, I'm just afraid that even though it's paradise up there, you'll have Euro plugs, and this is not going to plug into anything.
I can't charge my iPhone there.
Oh, you guys. It's going to be so much more fun up there. I mean, seriously, people think that we're going to be bored up there just playing our harps and singing songs and stuff, but it is not going to be in any way boring. Like the best movie you ever saw or the best game you ever played, I guess, is not going to be compared to what we're going to see and do up there. And, it's just going to be worth it all.
It's probably going to take me a while to get me away from the dinner table because I heard there's supposed to be a big feast. And
there is a big feast.
And I love food.
Food, buddy, food. Better believe it. That's why Baptists always have food with their functions.
It'd be funny you get up there and it's only bread and wine.
Bread and wine. Yeah, they have a fruit tree. I have it on good authority. They also have a fruit tree, the tree of life.
Come on, really?
That gives different fruit every month. Check
I
it
didn't
out.
know that.
Revelation, yes, sir. Yep.
Something new to learn.
Every month. Wouldn't that be revolution? Like it revolves.
Okay.
He's bringing the dad jokes this week. I like it. Ellen doesn't normally bring those.
Yeah, I like the dad joke. We actually do that on my work. That kind of lightens the mood. Speaking of that, because we deal with children and they can be challenging sometimes. And so a good dad joke goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
You get in the right spirit and you're like, okay, I can do this.
It's a good kidney punch. Right there. Little, just like you got in the winter, it's great because like you go straight hockey style. You grab their coat, you pull them over, and you get right into those kidneys. Pull them right into your knee. They can't go anywhere.
Oh my goodness.
And any sound they make is muffled as their parents getting in their car.
Oh my goodness.
You're welcome.
You're gonna get
The
me
more
in
you
so
know.
much trouble.
The look on Cameron's face.
I'm telling you, these guys are nuts, but they're a lot of fun. So to be fair, and they joke around a lot. So take it for what that's worth. But
Best friends at the table right here. It's like,
yeah, right, exactly. So yeah, so it's cool. So anyway, it talks about praying with all prayer and supplication for all saints. It talks about, our helmet of salvation, our shield of the Spirit, and again, it talks about fighting, and I'm talking about, I think I mentioned that a little bit, the people, like God has more mercy than I do, and some of the people, if I was sitting face to face with some people, it might not be too good. But we have to remember that we are actually fighting not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and evil in this world. And so it's really the evil behind it that we're fighting. And so that's something that we need to keep in mind, I think, when we're in battle. So let me see, what have I got here? Okay. So with that said, I guess we can move on to our next segment.
Yeah, the family portion, yeah.
Josh? Okay. So we kind of talked about family a little bit, but
yeah,
I think we can carry that through.
It tends to be a thing that we do when we have you on here.
Right.
Yeah.
It kind of all goes together.
It kind of meshes and gels.
Are you saying I talk too much?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. It's just the format shifts a little, but that's good. That's good. Just nice to change it up every now and then. If we all did everything the same, it would be boring, right?
And they wouldn't want to watch.
Yeah.
Right.
But they're here now watching.
Yeah.
Let's evolve.
Let's evolve. It sounds like a Pokemon thing or something.
Yes, that's
No, the
precisely
guys at the producer's desk know all about that. They've been trying to teach me. I still think I say it wrong. Pokemans, is that about right? I got thumbs up from both of them.
Pocket monsters.
Pokemon.
Yeah. Okay. At any rate,
all right.
Going
So-
on to the family portion.
Uh-oh. Now what happened there? It was like it was there, and then it was, let's move it along. Nothing to see here.
Step away from the Pokemans.
All right.
Straight to the politician.
The Pokemans. Okay, so Tony was really into Pokemans. That's my son, for those of you that don't know.
I never watched the show. So.
It's tell us more.
More about the Pokemans.
So yeah, I mean, that was it. He was really into it. He did the drawings of it and everything, watched every single show, could tell you every single character, and the whole 9 yards. And we had a big discussion about that when he started up with it. Because it was foreign and, there was some questionable stuff about it, back in the beginning. So I don't know how everyone feels about that, but
No one should keep their pet in a tiny little ball.
true story, right?
Basic.
Right. No wonder they're so angry when they come out.
And if that
was good.
if that pet fits in your pocket, that's kind of weird.
A little weird.
A little weird.
I don't see
I don't see
you
it
get on an airplane with one of those.
I seen somebody with a dog in his pocket.
A dog in his pocket.
Yeah, in Indianapolis, believe it or not.
I almost
I
shot a guy with a
believe it.
dog in his coat.
I've seen some dogs in like
Really?
carriers and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's
He had his hand in his
beautiful.
coat.
Seriously.
He approached me from behind with his hand in his coat. I was like, dude, I'm going to kill you. Like, I'm strapped. You have a chihuahua in your coat. You're getting ready to die, and I didn't know you had a chihuahua.
Oh,
He just came up like that with his hand in his coat and started talking. I was like, dude, you startled me with your hand in your coat.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna pull out a gun.
Believe me, that there's not enough mass in that dog to save you, bro.
maybe not such a great idea, huh?
Yeah, my friend had it in his pocket, and the dog's head was just sticking out while he was walking around. And I'm going, my God,
You know what
That's
breed?
not a real dog.
can't you afford at
Sorry.
least a baby carry?
Sorry for all those people who love small dogs.
Yeah, you're blasphemous. Dogs are supposed to be medium to large.
No, it's just, I mean, they're dogs are dogs. I mean, there's something for everybody, right? But yeah,
I guess
Very
if you
strange.
like painting your dog's nails and carrying it around in a basket.
And if you don't want protection, you just get a little small dog. But if you want protection, you get a big dog.
Yeah.
right.
I guess it's for companionship, right? Probably the
Yeah,
smaller
that's
ones.
mostly what it is. Especially older people, they have dogs for compassion.
Yeah, and it's easier to take care of, probably.
Yeah.
I would think.
No,
If it jumps on you, it's not going to knock you over.
The only thing is that they're very expensive when they get sick. They have to go to the hospital.
Oh yeah, you can spend a lot of money on your pet for real.
Oh yeah.
I spent quite a little bit.
Sounds
So
like you got a
far-
story there, Louis.
He sends me to this clinic, and I went up paying $3,000. What the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
$3,000 for a
Yeah.
pet.
$1,000 for one day, another $1,000. Another day I went with it, and then another $1,000. I said, "This guy is hooked on $1,000."
Right. Why 1,000 every day, huh? Seems
Well,
like
it
a
wasn't very every day.
nice round number.
I mean, he's really good. He's a really good veterinarian, but he's a little pricey. But I mean, he does really good work. I mean, we had to have 2 surgeries done on Journey at that veterinarian's office, and it ended up totaling, with everything said and done, $7,000 between the 2 surgeries and medicines and all this other stuff that was on top of it. So, but I was thankful that he did such good work, because I would have lost Journey without him. So he did really good work. He had to stitch up her stomach because she had a rip and a tear in her stomach. So she just got healed up from that. She was opened up from sternum to just above her lady parts, and after she heals up from that, she ends up getting a big old hole in the back of her leg, and they had to. I don't even know what happened. I don't know how it happened. I just know there was a big old hole in the back of her leg. They had to get all the stuff out of it, the infection out of it, clean it out, and then sew it up, and then or staple rather, and they had to keep a tube in it so it could drain, to keep it from getting infected. And man, that was a lot of sleepless nights. But I'm glad that we had that vet's office. He did a good job.
Yeah, you
They
go-
talk a
if
lot
you're-
about it in
If you're gonna
Johnny.
pay a lot of money, you should get a good service for it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just common sense when you're talking about money. You want to get your money's worth. So
I have no luck with dogs. Mostly every dog I get, it's got some allergy or something. And then when you take them to the doctor, the shot alone is $700. Just a shot for the allergy. I said, my God.
it seems a little high.
I think so. I complain, but it's nothing I could do about it.
Yeah, but good thing we had, like I said, good thing we had the veterinarian. I know that we guess we got into a family portion. We started talking about pets and pocketbooks.
It makes sense, right?
Alan,
They're part of the family.
Yep.
Alan's pretty familiar with the dogs here.
Yeah, so Presley lit me up as soon as I walked in the door. I just happened to...
That's my golden retriever.
His golden retriever, for whatever reason, just gravitates toward me. And today, I think positive to negative magnetism there. As soon as I came in the door, I looked over at Laura, and Presley comes out of nowhere. Like, I'm looking at Laura, he comes from the side and just jumps and nails me right in the abdomen. And I was like, I'm sure those guys heard me downstairs going, oh!
I wondered what the noise was, but I was like,
oh. He hit me. He almost put me back out the door. Like, it was bad. Hit me hard. And then he runs over and he gets, he's eating and he's right at basically the opening where we have to come down to the studio. And he's just, no, man, you're not going by me. And I'm like, come on, move. And he's just like wagging his tail, eating, not looking at me. He's like, no, you're stuck here until I let you go through. So, like, my dog, I can step over. My medium-sized dog, I can step over.
He's a small one, right?
No, yeah, she's a medium size, yeah. But yeah.
Lots of energy. For sure, though.
So much energy. So much energy.
More energy
How old is she?
than Presley.
She is 2. She's 2 now.
Oh, she's still a baby.
But I mean,
So she's still a puppy.
yeah, her vertical leap, she can look me eye to eye.
That's how my daughter's dog is. How Carol's dog is. She has I don't know what he is. He's part pit, but I really think he's part Jack Russell because he can do that vertical jump. Is that vertical? Yeah.
Yeah, vertical up and down. Yeah.
She's an Australian Shepherd, so she's just all energy all the time, just all go.
Seriously.
So it was kind of funny though. I came home on lunch today because I didn't have electricity. We're in the Midwest. Got smoked by a storm. I didn't have any electricity, so I was like, man, I bet it's getting hot at the house. So I made sure she had multiple bowls of water and everything else. But I also came home and just like dunked her in water. I got it down in there so she'd have something to cool off. You know, she'd lay there and cool off. But instead, she was like, "Oh, it's go time. Like I feel better now. It's zoomies. Let's do zoomies for a while." And I'm like, "No, you idiot! It's hot. Stop running. Just lay there."
Oh yeah, she's not going to do it.
Now the whole house is going to be covered in water.
I didn't even care about the water. I just didn't want her to like overheat, right? Like she's this big and she's that fluffy, and so I'm like, I just want you to stay still. So I put water on you. I don't want you running and raising your body temperature.
Yeah, she didn't get that point.
No, she was like, "Dad's home in the middle of the day. It's game time."
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No,
cool.
it's good, man. And, well, it's like that's Presley's new thing. What you just described.
Oh, dude,
but there was a lot of build up to you getting here today. So, but between Laura and I, when I first got home, we said your name a few times around Presley, and since the last time you were here hanging out and stuff, and so every time we say your name, he goes to the front window and he looks out and he looks for you.
He was ready.
Yeah, I was like, "Where's Alan?"
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and he's been waiting for that moment when you walked over that threshold and he could do what he did.
Yeah, he's like, if I hit him hard enough, I can put him in the wheelchair, and then he's stuck here, petting me for eternity.
Josh will be happy.
Oh my god.
Someone to take care of Presley. Yeah.
House guest. Woohoo. Okay.
No, not only that, they'll probably have him down here in the studio hanging out and doing shows. Come on, let's do the shots. And
Shots?
New show.
A few shots. Yeah.
A few shots. I thought you said do shots. I was like, it's strange with Presley, but we'll do it. We'll blend his food down.
I think he would do a good job at making fun of Biden. Yeah.
He would.
Yeah.
He would.
New show.
He certainly got the look down.
I see a new show. I see a new show coming.
But for those who haven't seen pictures of my dog Presley, he's very dopey looking. I mean, this is like very quintessential golden retriever, just blank look all the time.
Excitement, but blank at the same time.
Happy, but there's no hamster in the wheel.
I love when the sides of his mouth get stuck on his teeth. It's just like curled over, like his mouth curls over. It's best. Sorry, it's the best. It's the best.
that's like
The
my
best.
my dog. He's funny because whenever he hears firecrackers or thunder, he's hiding in the laundry, and then after a while you see him sticking his head up. He hears another thunder. hiding back in the laundry.
Back he goes. Yeah, they talked about that on the news. Got to watch your pets when they start setting off fireworks this time of year.
We'll see Max. That's his German Shepherd as a brother to Journey, my German Shepherd. And Journey, she has the opposite reaction. She barks and wants to go after the fireworks. Like she can stop them from going off.
See, Emmett was like that. No, Emmett actually did that. We were doing fireworks in the backyard with Carol and the family and all that, and he was running toward the fireworks, trying to shut them up by eating them. I'm like, no, dog. No, not good. Get your nose blown off.
She sees them going off in the sky, and she's like, woo, 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 woo.
Oh yeah, he was a riot. Now our other dog Bear, he did not like him. He would cry and hide and start shaking and sit up next to the sofa until it was all over. He was hilarious. It just depends on the dog, I suppose.
Yeah, our previous dog Zeppelin, he was we took him to one fireworks show with us just to like try to desensitize him when he was smaller, and he stayed up underneath my chair the whole time, one of those little fold out chairs, and so every year after that he would just try to figure out a way to be up underneath me somewhere or another whenever he would hear fireworks, regardless if they were outside.
Protect
on television.
Me, Josh.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like the boy dogs are chicken and the girl dogs are more brave.
My dog doesn't even pay attention to him.
You just
that's like
know
Presley.
one way or the other, huh?
Yeah, so when we have fireworks here in a few days, she will ignore the fireworks but bark at all the people.
Oh.
She will just bark at all the people, and then she'll completely just, what was that? Okay, who cares? I just randomly open the door occasionally and throw a firecracker out that's live and just see what happens. No, just kidding. If her hair caught on fire, it'd be a mess.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh! You got the long hair. You got the Australian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
Yep.
Nope. Not a good look.
But no, she doesn't seem to care about any of that stuff. Like noises don't really affect her whatsoever. I think she's just oblivious to it. She's like, whatever, that's just living. And then she's like, people, I'm going off at 2:00 in the morning when someone goes for a jog after work. Of course, I jump out of bed like, who's breaking in? She's like, oh, nobody. That guy right there, he's getting a pretty good workout
down the street.
He had a good sweat going on. I just want to let him know he's doing it right.
That's what Journey was doing just a few seconds ago. I'm sure she barks at everybody that walks down the street. Every single person, even if it's somebody she knows.
Yeah,
Presley,
mine's the same.
Presley's opposite. He just goes, "Oh, okay, there they go." Like you could just see it. Like there's no, like I said, no hamster. No hamster. Just the gear is turning for sure, but there's no hamster on that wheel. And it's the same with the fireworks too. It does not faze him. You will catch him watching TV though. He loves Ben Shapiro.
Nice.
Okay. At least he has good taste.
He's got politics in him.
Right? It's hard not to around here, right?
Yeah.
Hanging out with Josh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Laura gets tired of hearing about him, so that's why she's hardly ever down here. I asked her the other day, I said, well, do you ever go back and watch the show or listen? She goes like,
She said, we've had enough conversations about that, so we're good.
Yeah, we talk about all the things that are on the show all the time anyway, so
Right.
she gets tired of it. So,
Yeah.
and she has enough of all of us anyway. So, yeah, she doesn't need the show. Every now and then she
That's why I
watch.
thank her every single time I leave. I literally thank your wife for putting up with me every single time I leave.
That's why she likes you.
I just know it's a challenge.
Yeah, she's a woman that she don't like you. She ain't liking you.
She'll let you know.
She won't tell you. She just look at you.
Yep.
This is from the gaze.
I don't want to know anything about the gays. We're almost out of that month.
Matter of fact,
I
tomorrow
thought we finished that episode.
Yeah. I've been over that for a while.
Is everything good over there?
I can't see Sterling very well from here.
Oh, the monitor's blocking your view of Sterling.
Fair. Yeah,
He's smiling and he's kicking back in that producer's chair.
fair enough. As long as he's comfortable.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Sitting back there going, dance, monkeys, dance.
He's bad.
he's laughing and dancing. You know why you can't see snow? Because they never turn the cameras around. They're fake news.
They never
They're
do.
fake news. We have fake news on this show too, unfortunately. Fake news.
When would we fact? When fact check
Well,
us?
you turn around the cameras.
Oh yeah, we don't turn the cameras around.
Yeah.
But we have a green screen behind them just in case we have to. That giant crowd
clarify.
behind them.
I was like, wait a minute, are we being fact checked right now? I need examples.
I thought we did something wrong.
No, we're good.
I'm gonna get a talking to.
That was my attempt at a joke. That's why he does the jokes, and I just.
I hear you.
Yeah,
We should have known that you was a joker too. You know, we didn't catch it.
Yeah.
They
I'll
may-
try another one. Slow lob.
That one works.
Yeah.
Maybe we preface from now on. It's like, I'm going to tell a joke now.
Right.
Little blinking thing at the bottom of the screen.
This is a joke. Okay.
Applause. Laughter.
Nothing's happened. Oh, I see now. I see what was coming.
It's not like Bill Maher. That's the only way he can get people to laugh.
We
on
could
that
put a light there and say joke. Whenever she's joking, it turns on.
Laughter.
Joke.
Right.
Yeah.
So not trying to turn the car around here, but did we actually have a family topic?
Well, I mean, we went into dogs and pocketbooks.
I mean, I didn't know if we had one that was like drawn up
Books.
beforehand.
Yeah. No, we didn't actually have anything outlined. If
Okay,
you want- if
that's
that's
fair.
what you mean.
I just want to make sure. I was like, oh, did we?
No,
No,
we're
no.
not. We're not completely off track. We're just running all over the track, and
That's
it's been
fair.
a great time.
We built our
yeah.
own track.
You can
Like
make
the-
your own track now.
Run all over the track like the horses in her message.
We build it, and they will come.
So speaking of money, though, I mean, you talk about your pocketbook and so forth, and talking about how expensive everything is now.
Nice
I
segue.
wonder where that came from. The Biden thing and the whole inflation thing, and why our costs are so much higher now. They're less than they were last year or something, but they're way more than they were 3 years ago when Trump got out of office. So that should tell you something.
Also,
And it's hard to keep up that way.
Yeah. Also, the Biden, he spent all this money so he could have crypto.
Oh, right.
So now all the banks are starting to get crypto. I don't like it.
I don't either.
I'd rather have my cash.
Me too.
I don't want no crypto and having banks and Biden checking me and investigating what I spent and did not spend.
Oh, yeah. It's none of their business. That is definitely not a republic kind of government, right?
Oh, see, I mean, I would rather have something on a blockchain that they can't really manipulate because they're going to take my cash away anyway and move me to digital, zeros and ones. So
And I agree with that because
it's just two ways of thinking. That's why
I'm already invested in crypto myself, but it's not the crypto you're thinking about.
You're doing well.
What exactly? The CBDCs is what Louis is referring to, and I don't have the acronym off the top of my head, but it's essentially it's this cash-based system based on the government. So it actually goes back to the same fiat type of money that we have now. It's even harder, tracked even harder. So it's cryptocurrency. So now your dollar is digital. The U.S. Dollar digital or digital U.S. dollar (DUSD). And when you get your paycheck, you're going to get your digital U.S. dollars instead of regular American dollars that you could turn into cash, which you could then go use that legal tender. It won't happen anymore. It won't exist anymore if they get their way. If the things get passed.
They wanted that anyway because it's so much easier to be able to lock you out, right? So
exactly, and base things on ESGs and DEIs.
Absolutely, and this is the vehicle, right? The concept's been around for a very long time, and obviously during COVID, being able to dwindle change supplies and be able to kind of villainize money, cash, by saying it's a vector for disease, right? It carries everything because it's just paper. So there's that. So you had those two things already there. The concept was already there, and this is just going to be the vehicle, it sounds like. I never want to give up. I never want to give them the chance to be able to put me at zero for any reason, but we've known that's coming, and I don't know how we can really. I'd love to know the best way to stop it.
I think people are sort of waking up to it and trying to go back to cash to a certain degree in some areas.
That's only going to last for so long. I mean, there is The potential for the Convention of the States, which there are 18 states that have signed on. You may know about this already. Yvonne.
I do.
The Convention of the States, if that happens, then they can actually reform the federal government, which would be phenomenal. But it's
Put
not
limitations on the federal government.
Yeah. Well, it also does a reformation as well. There's a discussion about reformation and how that'll look in the end. But because their reach has gone way too far, and
overreach, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, taxation is theft, right, Alan?
Every single moment.
Talking about taxation. So if you
See
get
the roads?
into the Crystal, do they take the taxes out of it?
Out of your crypto?
Yeah.
So the idea is that they'd be once they break this is the thought process behind them putting us on the digital US dollar. It makes it to where you don't have to go to work anymore to earn your money. You're going to get a universally based income, right? So they give you a paycheck for nothing. So you think, right? But what it is they give you these, essentially they're credits, right? Like just like when you go to an arcade, you get credits. And then what you do with those credits is you can then purchase your things that you want to, like you're getting around in your car or watching movies or any kind of entertainment or whatever you want to do. But those credits only go so far, and you can only fill up your fridge with so much of those credits. But they also control how many credits you're going to get, how much digital U.S. currency you're going to get based on your ESG, which is economical, or environmental, sociological, and something else. Anyway, it's a score that they have on you. It's basically like a social score, right? Like in 1984, right out of that book.
Or in China.
Yeah, it's already in China. Yeah,
right, so they already use it in China. Yeah.
And then if you're a company, they'll also enforce it whether or not you're employing people based on DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So if you're not checking all the specific boxes with your employees, let's say if your employees look a little too homogenous, or if they're not, if they're all the same, they choose the same friction, then we have to start diversifying that portfolio, and we're not allowed to stay in business because we don't have enough diversity.
Or I wonder if they would just go ahead and, because something has to pay for the UBI, right? Something has to pay for the universal basic income. I wonder if they would just tax them at a higher rate, because I mean that's the whole idea, right? This kind of Marxism, socialist kind of concept where we're going to give everybody free money, right? So they don't have to go. And the concept is we've become such an industrialized nation that people don't have to go to work. Machines will do the work. So if people aren't going to work and machines can do the work, that means the factories aren't paying for people. So now they need to be taxed at an exponentially higher rate to pay the people who are sitting at home. So,
well, there'll still be certainly like a slave class that would be the assumption, right? Like you still have to have people maintenance machines, right?
Right.
Over time, the AI will be able to probably replicate itself, fix itself, and go through and.
But they're supposed to get rid of that. That's the problem with capitalism, right? Capitalism says, unfortunately, someone's got to lose, and that's true. It's very true. I'm a capitalist. I believe in it, but at the same time, you don't. But capitalism also preaches or teaches us that you may lose. All of us lose at some point, but we don't keep losing in a system. Sorry, you're looking at the next story.
Oh, yeah, we're getting ready to go into the first story, actually.
on these machines that they're using, Lowe's got one. Walmart, I think it's got one, and Lowe's got one, and McDonald's, you go and order your
Yeah,
your
you don't
food
have to
on a
order from the
machine.
cashier.
So
I've literally
that's taking jobs.
I've literally had a manager at a Walmart, at a McDonald's, tell me to go use the machine.
I have too.
I have to,
like-
and Lowe's that had.
They didn't say, hey, if you want to skip the line. Now, it's one thing to say, hey, if you want to skip the line, you can use a machine over there. I already think that's bad because it's already teaching people to. But I've literally walked up and they had the lights turned out at the counter.
Yeah.
And I walked up and I was like, hey, I just want to order my food. And they're like, yeah, just use the kiosk. And I'm like, yeah, well, I like the fact that you're employed. This is exactly what I said, of course. I like the fact that you're employed, and I'd like to see more people in here doing work.
Humans.
So how about we have someone at the counter? And he's like, well, I'm sorry. Unless you go through the drive-thru, you have to use the kiosk.
They talk about the president and all that, talk about giving people jobs and this and that, but the way I see it, they're taking away jobs, putting these machines in there.
Well, they take the idea is that they're going to take those people out of positions where they're working and they're going to stuff them in warehouses filling orders. That's the concept,
Yeah.
right?
It's probably, yeah.
You kill all these other jobs and you just move them into warehouses. And then guess what? Why was the public school system ever designed the way it was designed with the curriculum that it has? It was originally designed to teach people to be good factory workers, honestly. The math and everything that you're taught in public schools, originally the curriculum was to teach people to be good factory workers. And that sounds so bad in today's society because we didn't know that. But that's why they did it. So guess what? They can get right back to that, teaching our kids how to pick.
It's also why they did the new math.
Right.
Because it makes kids think in the way a computer thinks, in zeros and ones. That's exactly what it is. If you go back and look at new math, I think Sterling can probably verify this. It's all based on zeros and ones. He's nodding his head yes. And and once you've reformed or actually even formed a brain from an early age, based on this version of math, that's all they see. That's how they think. We've talked about how to think a lot on this show in the past. And once they think that way, they're programmable.
There's no creativity. There's no deviating from the course. You do what you're told, and that's it.
Obey.
And you do it well. Yeah.
Sounds like there's a movie with Roddy Piper called They Live. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It's from the 1980s. If you've never seen it, go back and watch that movie. It'll open your eyes. Literally, he has these sunglasses that he puts on. It's based on a oh man, I can't remember the author's name. The guy that wrote Stephen King novel. These aliens come to Earth, but we can't tell who the aliens are. He puts on these sunglasses that he found in a wreckage, and whenever he puts his sunglasses on, he can see who the aliens are, and then he can also see the propaganda all around him. So he can see the billboards say "obey," consume, 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 all this other stuff, and it's like, ooh, this movie's telling a lot of truth. And that was in the 1980s. That was pretty far ahead of its time. It's so relevant now.
That was back when very, very, very lefty Stephen King was talking about what he felt was, the right's version, and now the left is actually doing it. So it's before the flip, right?
Yeah, it's before his flip as well. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, absolutely. And it illustrated a lot of things. We talked about the robots. I think that they got their affirmative action.
They did. They got their come up.
Yeah. And speaking of affirmative action, the Supreme Court rules on the future of affirmative action. That's what they did this week. On Thursday, the Supreme Court of the United States issued their ruling on affirmative action. This article actually comes from the DC Inquirer. Okay. They ruled on affirmative action with the court concluding in Students for Fair Admissions Incorporated versus President and Fellows of Harvard College, the university carried out unconstitutional racial balancing. In a 6-3 decision, the Supreme Court found that it was unconstitutional to consider race in university admissions, thus striking a blow to the way that college admissions have functioned for decades. The decision fell on ideological lines, with 6 conservative justices voting in favor of the Students for Fair Admissions, while the 3 liberal justices voted against it. Chief Justice John Roberts authored the opinion of the court, and Justice Clarence Thomas, we like Justice Clarence Thomas, and Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote concurring opinions. Justices Ketanji Brown Jackson. I made that flinch because the last time I said her name, the lights flickered here. And it happened, I think, a couple times. Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan disagreed from the 6 conservative justices in a dissent authored by Justice Jackson. Sotomayor also wrote a dissenting opinion. Before the court was... Huh?
It's a go figure.
Right?
She had to get her 2 cents in.
Before the court was Harvard College, as well as the University of North Carolina, against Students for Fair Admissions, an organization dedicated to the end of affirmative action. Quote, for the reasons provided above, the Harvard and UNC admissions programs cannot be reconciled with the guarantees of equal protection clause, the court wrote. Quote, quote, both programs lack sufficiently focused and measurable objectives warranting the use of race, unavoidably employ race in a negative manner, involve racial stereotyping, and lack meaningful endpoints. We have never permitted admissions programs to work in that way and will not do so today. So
what
there you
I
have
want
it.
to say about that is that it's about time. Number one. Number two, they're standing up for what's right, because it's not fair to, you have no choice in what color you are. So it's not fair to give you a college admission. Me and my husband talked about this, and one step further would be to say an employer can't use that in deciding whether they're going to hire you or not either. With all the diversity and equity and inclusion now, they can't use that kind of, criteria to decide if they're going to employ you or not. That should just carry over into the employment part too.
Yeah, merit.
Merit, right. That's what it should be, right? If you're the best person for the job, then you should get the job regardless of your skin color or anything else.
That's right. I'm not against any color. The only color I hate is green, and I hope no Martians come down here, and try to take over our Earth. It's the government is saying that they're doing. They're trying to come in here and take over our land. Who knows?
Those are those reptilians, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the Martians. I think they speak Chinese.
Alan's just smiling over here. He's lost for words, which is unusual.
Well, when we're talking about Martians, we can talk about aliens all day. But
there's a difference.
there's a difference.
Yeah.
But there's two things. First of all, just touching on the point of what was that is no longer. I've said this on the show. I've said this on my own show. The biggest disservice that did was it brought people in of whatever race. I don't care what race we're talking about, because honestly, it mostly affected Asian people, Asian students. Mm-hmm. Asian students were the most negatively impacted by it. They had to have ridiculous scores to have a chance, and then it stair-stepped down depending on population. So what they did was it took people at the bottom end of that curve and it stuck them in classes that they could not do. Mm-hmm. And then what happens? You take someone who isn't supposed to be somewhere because they're just not suited for that. You put them in that environment, they fail. Then they give up. Then they hate everything around them because they had an opportunity, but the opportunity was fake.
Right.
So that now they don't trust the system. Now they don't trust anything. Now they're hateful at what was lost.
And they're in debt.
And horribly in debt. And then to the point of, and I'll be quiet here, Louis.
No, keep it up.
I don't know if you've seen how Harvard has responded to this. Harvard is kind of being smarmy, and they're basically saying, "Oh, we'll do what you say, but we have the right to use information from basically entry essays of people's experiences as a way to give them admission, right? So now they can say, well, your entry essay. Thank you. Words are hard sometimes, especially in essays. So they can use that as a way to understand. Now they're not really going to look at your color or whatever it might be, but now they can look at your background and say, okay, now I want a campus full of people who think the same way. So now that's much more powerful.
Because that's what it's about anyway.
But think about that. It's so much more powerful now, right? There's no voice of dissent. You don't accidentally give Josh, admission to your college where he might stand up in a class or a lecture hall full of 300 students and be that voice of dissent. Now you can go, okay, these 350 kids all sitting here, they're all going to bark the same things back. They're all going to think the same way. And now it's not about your race. Now we can pick by your ideology.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now it's not by your race, but before it was by your race. And they put in any people that came from another country into the United States, they will fail because they put it that they make it that you could fail because they don't want to see you succeed, but more than Josh will succeed, because he's American.
Well, they don't want Josh to succeed because he's a white male. Yeah. That's the very lowest
but
class
they have more
in the totem pole.
They have more of a rights than
straight white male.
Despite straight there, I should
straight white male, and we're lowest on the totem pole.
And think about this. The only reason they have this kind of power is because and this has gotten better, but generally speaking, all this chatter behind me. Anyway,
producer's desk.
We
gotta get them mics.
The reason why they've been able to get away with this thus far is because that degree has so much weight, right? And we've gotten better about this as a society. But growing up, that was what I was told in high school, or even in elementary school. You go through this, you go to college. College gives you the opportunity to get the good job. And then as we got older and we looked at people who went to college, and we went, that's great. I just started working and I'm watching you make less than me. So, but if you have that prestigious degree, right? You can have that same degree that you had at IU, but now you got it at Harvard. And so Harvard now can dictate a lot of things because they have so much power and so much sway, because your average degree with a Harvard name at the top of it bumps your income up substantially.
And that's why you have to be that voice of dissent. Like I keep thinking about the God's Not Dead movies. There were like 4 of them. Just the first one was about a college student who went to a I was going to say psychology, but it's not psychology. Philosophy.
No, it was philosophy
class. And his instructor said, all right, well, we're going to get this out of the way. Just write down here, God's not dead, or God is dead, and we can go on with our class and I'll teach you because we don't need to discuss this in the class. And the student stands up and says, I can't write that. Speaking of the voice of dissent.
And his name was Josh.
Yeah. Little known fact. Okay. So second show, they go through this whole thing and he wins people over to his side because of his arguments and so forth. And at the end, the professor actually accepts the gift of salvation at the very last minute, which was an amazing movie if you have not seen it. The second one is about a teacher who a student asked a question about religion, and she answers it truthfully because she's a Christian, not with just the party line, not with just what the book says, but what she actually believes. And they take her to court for it. The parents of the student take her to court. The student doesn't take her to court, but the parents do because they disagree with her ideas. And so there you go, voice of dissent again, thinking differently and affecting this whole change with this student. And now you've got all these students in support of this teacher saying, wait a minute. That's what's so great about America, because we've always been able to stand up and have that dissenting opinion. We've always been able to stand up and just, like with our First Amendment and everything. And I think that's how the founders, created it to be, so that we could stand up and say, no, that's not right, and always have that balance and always have that check on everything. But when we're taken up out of here, then it's going to be so much easier for the evil to overcome everyone, because the Holy Spirit is really the one who puts that inside of us and gives us that courage and gives us that knowledge, I guess, of truth,
Yeah.
And so when we're taken out of here, then we're going to have evil, and it's just going to be, it's going to be so easy to run people over and just say, you've got to wear a mask or whatever it might be. It's going to be, I'm sure, much worse than that,
Oh, yeah.
I thought we were talking about Darrell Brooks again.
What's that?
It's the guy who ran over all the people at the Christmas parade a year and a half ago.
Oh.
Yeah.
He said to run over people.
Yeah, Darrell Brooks Jr.
Right. Okay, gotcha.
Don't want to get the dad smeared. He didn't do it.
He made it.
Yeah, so.
He's responsible by proxy.
Exactly.
Let's hope that Josh don't have to go to the hospital or anything like that, because he don't wear a mask. You can't tell him to wear one.
Nope.
And I won't either. And I went to immediate care, and I was a little bit worried about it, but the whole thing's been dropped. The CDC has dropped it. There was a big article in the Epic Times that said, hey, they did this study and they don't work. And yet I went to the clinic today, and there were 20 employees in there, and 2 of them still wearing masks. And I feel like I should walk around with the article and just take it to people and say, hey, did you see this? Because I'm just like, it's the medical field, right? And you should know. You should know what the truth about it, right? But
on the other end of that, I mean, masks do actually help if you have something. That's just plain. That's normal. That's everything, right? That's not just this, that, or the other. It's just the people who are scared to catch things wearing them just crack me up. Now, if you got up for work that morning, and a few times I have worn a mask, I've gotten up, had a scratchy throat, something like that. I don't want to take a chance of getting somebody sick. I throw a mask on, and then I get, oh, were you scared to get COVID? No, man, I'm not scared. But do you want to take this down and
cough on you? Yeah.
You walk away with whatever this junk is?
The thing about that is it doesn't stop a virus at all. So if it's viral, it's not going to stop it.
It does stop droplets. Droplets carry the virus.
Like if you when you're like if you're coughing on the inside, then
it will
stop that. It stops you from.
It will stop droplets, but it won't stop the virus from being.
But the virus itself, it's like throwing sand up against a chain link fence.
But the virus is in the droplets. That's kind of like how we don't have clouds. We don't have that nasty thing going on outside because of the rain last night.
Well, the hospitals, they don't believe in none of that. They still think that you need to wear a mask in the hospital.
And that's one of the reasons, I didn't go to the hospital because I could have gone. I fell today and busted up my left side, so I went to the immediate care instead of the hospital because I didn't want to deal with the Gestapo.
The Gestapo.
Yeah. it had to be a more graceful fall than Joe Biden. And speaking of Joe Biden, gets us into our second article this week. Coming from Town Hall, Biden screams at a reporter for asking about Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I've seen that.
So Joe Biden just lost all composure on the White House lawn when he was asked whether he was personally involved in strong-arming a Chinese official, as was revealed by text messages from Hunter Biden uncovered by the IRS whistleblower. In the same exchange on the White House lawn, Joe Biden's brain shut down as he told reporters, that's what it says in this article I'm telling you. He told reporters that Russian President Vladimir Putin was losing the war. Not in Russia or Ukraine, mind you, but in Iraq. Joe Biden isn't the only one who has lost his cool when confronted about allegations against the Biden crime family. Karine Jean-Pierre, I got her name right for the first time. I'm so proud of you. She's not going to last much longer, I don't think. So she got immeasurably frustrated with reporters for asking serious questions about the president's alleged corruption. I wasn't able to pull the video. I couldn't get it to download fast enough. But it was rather funny to watch both of them blow up at the reporters for
basically asking a serious question about something that's in the news.
What happened with Karine was her colleague that was at the podium before her. They asked him about Hunter, and he said, "Well, you need to talk to the president about that." And then Karine comes out there, and then almost every reporter, left or right, it doesn't matter, all the reporters, regardless of their political leanings, all asked about Hunter. They still was pressing on this question, like, you're not going to get away from this. And every time she called on somebody new, they're asking about the previous colleague's question.
Oh, I did. I heard where they just built on each other. Like, by the way, to their point.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. And
that's amazing.
And that's what they need to do, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Didn't they give Biden a free pill? He said that he was guilty. He said that he was guilty about what he did.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yet they let him get away with it, and they said it's all right.
They said it's a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hunter got a slap on the wrist. Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, he said that he's been giving away state secrets as a joke in a meeting with foreign leaders. And no, it wasn't funny.
All those times
it was a Freudian slip is what that was.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was interesting. I don't think that's one of your articles, Josh, but it was in the news.
No, I was trying to get the final article pulled up, but it's not functioning now on the tablet here. It's giving me a little ad thing here. Anyway,
do you pull and read it real quick?
If you can get it on your phone, the tablet's not allowing it for some reason.
My phone wasn't working earlier. Did he get it? Okay.
Which one is it?
Yeah. We'll see if it works on Louie's phone. No, it's doing the same thing. All right. Well, it was going to be from the Epic Times, but the title was Hunter gives a deposition on in defamation on the lawsuit against him after he the allegations were brought against him for leaving the laptop at that store. I don't know. Were you able to get it to pull up on your phone?
Yeah, he left it at the store
For a second.
Yeah.
And the guy that ran the store, they defamed his character. They said that he was involved in a Russian, disinformation, and that he was lying about the whole thing, and that he wasn't allowed to look on the laptop because it wasn't his, and all this kind of thing, and he slapped them back with he slapped them with a lawsuit, and they slapped him with a lawsuit. So it's in court right now.
Well, Louis did find the video, but of course we can't play it on the screen. But
right.
Send me that link, Lou, and I'll put it in the description so people can see that. So at least have that. But yeah, it's just the fact that Hunter.
So he has to answer questions about that.
He needs to answer questions about this laptop. What he done was drop this laptop off for service and forgot all about it because he was too busy out there smoking Parmesan cheese and drywall, and crack. There's also crack was involved. I made Sterling laugh over there.
He loves that crack.
But the fact that Joe Biden lost his mind and was screaming at this reporter for even bringing up his son is beyond ridiculous. I understand that that's your son, but your son broke the law.
Yeah, be objective.
Yeah.
Lots of laws.
You want everyone else to be objective. Be objective.
If you're the leader of this free world, you need to be objective.
You need to respect the law.
Respect
If you
the law.
want people out there to respect the law too, they see the president getting away with this. They're going to say, why should I respect the law? And why should I do what they tell me what to do?
Right, exactly. It's the example.
Yeah, and and it's wrong what they did. They should have gave him an example. They should have punished him, impeach him or whatever, but they should have put his son in jail. That's the number one. And if they
absolutely. He committed felonies.
Yes, all
And
kinds.
felony gun charges for all their complaining about guns.
And who knows what
Nothing
else
for
he
her.
might have done.
Right.
He could have
That's
done
amazing.
a lot of other things. You
That's
never
such a
know.
good point. They're so hard on guns, but he's walking around committing
yeah.
felonies by carrying one,
But yet
by buying one.
Yeah, by buying one while on drugs for sure. Well, also the guy who he dropped the laptop off to is facing all kinds of legal trouble. The guy that the laptop store the repair
the
store
owner or whatever.
Yeah.
The guy that was
yeah
there.
he said he's had death threats. He's had people try to shut him up. Because he's telling the truth. He's like, look, this crackhead dropped off. That's that I can call Hunter Biden a crackhead because that's what he was. But anyway, he dropped this laptop off. He's made that allegation is not just an allegation. That's the truth. That's what really actually happened. And for them to try to shut him up it shows how far they will go. I'm really surprised that he's still alive, to be honest with you.
I am too. The owner of the shop, I am too.
And if this had been, and not to do a whataboutism necessarily, but if this had been Don Jr., drugs or not, if this had been Don Jr. left a laptop and then the things that are on that laptop would have been seen, there would have been no end to the investigations and all this stuff that they're doing,
reporting and
just
talking about it.
Yeah, just like with keeping Trump in the Donald Trump in the news cycle, and trying to cover up the fact that there is a court session going on for Hunter, and that he should see jail time. I think the judge is going to actually throw out the sweetheart deal. I really think he will.
I hope so. I hope so. He can't get by with this. Like I said, justice, right? And so we're supposed to stand for justice and hope this person is one of those people that will stand up.
I mean,
That's all we can hope for at that point.
He probably
Pray
is
for him, that
probably
he
is
will.
worried that that it'll be seen as political because the judge was Trump appointed. But I don't think that should have any sway on it. It's like if you broke the law, you broke the law, and it should be the law should be applied equally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Biden's got
it's
a lot
not-
to do with that. Believe me, Biden got a lot to do, and who knows how much money he pull out to help him out.
Oh yeah, well that Chinese money that they were getting from their deals with China and Burisma
The
and
$500 million each.
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Probably the money they used to keep Biden from going to jail. I mean, Brian Hunter.
yeah, Hunter, yeah. We'll have to see how it all pans out, and all we can do is hope that justice is served, and that's certainly not being served with former President Donald Trump. He's had indictment after indictment over, and they still can't find anything.
They're just trying to keep
Yeah.
him out of the politics. They're trying to get rid of him and keep him out of the politics so he won't run. But it ain't going to stop him. He's going to keep going.
Honestly, I actually think it's the opposite, guys. I think media makes more money off Trump being in office than anything else. So why would I not run every single bit of information I have?
True.
Because if I can keep him on your TV, and yeah, he's going to polarize people, but the people who aren't going to vote for him aren't going to vote for him. And the people who are going to vote for him will absolutely vote for him. So you're doing nothing but keeping him out there, getting clicks, which keeps you paid. But putting him on TV, and he knows this himself, the more often he's on TV, good or bad, it doesn't really matter, right? People loving to hate you and hating to love you and everything else is going to get people to pay attention. So the likelihood of him getting elected, even with negative press, is amazing. And that's great for the media companies because they're going to make more money on a Trump presidency. So yeah, I think there's some covering up. Yes, that certain places are going, let's keep Trump out there so we can silence this because he's going to be boisterous and loud and he's going to say, unfortunately, the wrong things a lot of times. But hey,
he's going to say, I must be nonstick. You could call me Teflon Don.
And then that's going to keep everything else. He helps cover up everything else going around because he constantly is talking. But on the other end, media companies want him elected, so they're going to keep him on TV.
But at least Trump don't talk to ghosts and people that are not there. That he
No,
wants to shake
that's
hands.
completely fair. I'm not against it. I'm not saying anything bad. I think honestly it's a huge play because CNN has nothing to talk about if he's gone, right? After so long, he falls out of the cycle, unfortunately. So you want to re-up. If you can re-up, then
Well, I mean, there is other stuff to talk about, but not stuff they want to talk about,
That's
like how bad our president, how bad Biden is physically and mentally.
but it's not as
Like
colorful.
really digging into that.
Right. I mean, that would be true journalism.
Right.
And true journalism doesn't pay. People don't click on things but Trump is such a large character himself.
I understand that. Yeah. I understand what
You
you're
know,
saying. Yeah. He's a showman. I understand
It's
that
so huge for them because they can just keep cashing in on him.
It's huge.
to a certain degree. But I mean, I think you can make it interesting if you really are going to be a journalist and you really are going to capture people's attention that way. I think it takes some creativity and some work, I guess. So, I think they could do it. I think they could still get the clicks.
Oh, I mean, they could.
But it's not as easy.
It's easy just to go,
Trump, right?
he said something.
Right. True story. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he's good at. I'm good at the same thing. Chewing on my shoes. He does the same thing. But I love the fact that he's got no filter. I love that there's not a filter on that man. I think that's why I like him so much. We need somebody like that. We need somebody that is willing to make these other countries shaking their boots, so to speak, because they think he's a little bit crazy, and if they think he's a little bit crazy, then they're less likely to attack Ukraine, or attack Taiwan. So.
Or blow us up. Or steal all our stuff.
Or let Poland think that they can conquer something. Because now Poland's even talking trash, talking about they're going to make moves now. So we'll have to see how that goes.
A lot of
So we
things
got
going on.
Yeah, we got an election coming up. There are other people running on the Republican side, and if someone else wins for some reason on the Republican side, I suppose I would support that person. But I am leaning toward Trump.
I'd be hard pressed. Well, Trump is out in front of all the other candidates, including Ron DeSantis.
That's the numbers tell
by
you that
double
story.
digits.
Yeah.
By double digits. But that's a whole new story for another day, and we've got to start winding this thing down. So if you wouldn't mind, Yvonne, go ahead and give us a closing prayer so we can get some outros. Unless you got something else, Louis?
No, I'm winding down.
Oh, he's winding down. Okay. All right. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this discussion. Thank you for your word. Thank you for giving us the strength to do what we need to do. Thank you for President Trump and his hard work. And thank you for this country that we live in, the freedoms that we have, the people that died so that we could have them. Thank you for dying on the cross for our salvation. I pray that you would just bless this message, bless this podcast, Lord, bless our country, and bless these people. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
When talking about blessing this podcast, we are the #1 podcast. If you ask Rich Rosati, he made that sign for us.
Awesome.
Fake news.
Hey, don't knock Rich.
Yeah, Rich is a great guy. We love Rich, even though he left Alan off the sign. We'll have to get him to come back and fix that. But
we should protest on that.
Is nice. I like that.
Oh, we also have
of course, I'm not on there
France.
either, but okay.
France is rioting and protesting and start a war.
Well, that's also a story for another day. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So the woman that brought the message this week, the softer side of faith, family, and politics, Yvonne Metcalf. Sorry. I almost said it. And then you would have had all the rights to bonk me on the head. And I would have had to let you.
Lawsuit. No, just kidding.
I got to change my name to Hunter Biden so I can get away with it.
Oh, my God. That's all we need.
And next to her, I know that he's all of your favorite, the host of Laughing Libertarian, Alan McFarland. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me on. And excellent guesting. Sorry, my brain just stopped.
No stuttering. No
stopped.
stuttering.
It Bidened.
My brain stopped. What was that about?
He had a Biden moment.
I did.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
I might run for office in Pennsylvania.
Start screaming about Iraq now.
Anyway, excellent message, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
And across from him, the host of Rodriguez Rants, Louis Rodriguez.
Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for joining us.
I thought I would never make it. I kept rushing that plumber.
Louis had some plumbing service done earlier today. Man, I think the guy did a good job, though, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
He did. It's
got it
working good.
fixed? Okay,
My
well,
woman
that's
is
good.
happy.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah. It's been a year. She's been complaining. Change the faucet. Change the faucet.
Got to do that here on Sunday. Got to change the faucet here.
Yeah, I'm going to change your faucet. I just learned how to do it better.
Ironically, I have a faucet sitting in my kitchen that I need to change.
Ironically,
I guess
I've been thinking about that for like 2 weeks at our house.
I'm like, that kitchen sink keeps leaking, and I've got it. I've got it sitting right there on the counter. I'm just going to do it.
We could go over there and
Yeah,
fix
I guess
it too.
that's our next stop.
Faucet
Just
party.
Fix it here and then fix it at Alan's house.
That's it. We have a big party.
Oh,
I've been your host, Joshua Cummins, reminding you to stay in trouble and pay your plumber extra. We'll see you next week.
see you guys.